So, as some of you know, I have some good news to share today. I should say it's actually bittersweet news. But so I'm so happy that Reverend Stephen Greenbaum is here. So Stephen is, of course, my mentor. Well, I've known Stephen since 2010. I met him at an interfaith conference in Washington State, and I was there to speak about Israel Palestine and peace work there. And he was talking about how he was starting the Living Interfaith Church. And so he wanted to start an interfaith community in the Seattle area where folks came together exactly like this, except in person. And we took turns and we got to hear from each other and learn from one another. And you never preach about anyone else's faith tradition. You always take the time, and all of us from all different faiths come together and take turns hearing from each other. And I was so inspired by that that my family and I joined. And so I've known Stephen for 14 years now. And so we went to the Living Interfaith Church. So it started in 2010 and it's continued until now. And the bittersweet news is it's actually closing down. So the Living Interfaith Church is shutting down now, and they're giving us their funds. And their members are joining the Living Interfaith Sanctuary. And because we're online, and during COVID, they also moved online. And actually, the reason that we meet on the first and third Saturdays of the month is they always met on the second and fourth. And that way, if folks wanted to go to both faith services, they could always go. So some folks like Rebecca and like Stephen and Steve Crawford and Bill Griffith and my dad, James Keene, have been going to both for years now since COVID. But for a variety of reasons, they're closing down. And so that is very sad, but they lasted 14 years. So that is amazing. And under the leadership of Stephen for much of that time. And then when he retired, under the leadership of Reverend Marie Preftes Arends. And she has been amazing. And so their community has been amazing and is really what inspired me to get into interfaith, to start doing this work. And the Living Interfaith Sanctuary was founded completely even using the same order of service as the Living Interfaith Church. So we came out of them and have been working in conjunction with them. But they're closing down now, and they're giving us, so this is the part of the good news. So they're giving us $30,000, which is amazing, which is more than our budget is around, I think, 23,000 a year. So more than a year's full amount of money. And Stephen's been supporting us along the way as well. And so we have more money now, and we have some new members as their members have joined us. So we can actually do some new things that folks want to do in the coming year. If they have a ministry that they are really interested in, such as something around violence against women, or something around the environment, or repair cafes, or interfaith education, we actually have some money for that. And I can also share that 3 weeks ago, I met with the grant writer from a local foundation that gives grants to organizations that they believe are doing things to bring people together in the world, specifically if those things are against hatred, against anti-Semitism, against racism, things like that. And they said, oh, your organization is doing the exact kind of work we want to support. So if you tell me what project you want to do, we can get you a grant for it. And so we actually have more resources now. And so going into this next year, we really want to know as the council, what do folks want to work on? What are the kind of projects we want to do? We've discussed revisiting our charity application through the CRA. And if we want to focus more on spiritual ministries, if we want to focus more on educational initiatives, or again, things in the community. And the person I spoke to who would help us apply for charity status said, if you need to get charity status, you have to tell them exactly the kind of stuff you want to be doing over the next 10 years. You can't say, okay, let's get it now. And now in 2 years, we're going to add a totally different program. It's different than what we first said we were doing. So they said, really start planning, start thinking through what are the things you want to be doing? How do we want to grow? What kind of stuff do we want to add? Do we want to have more meditation? What do we want to be working on? And put all of that in the application. And she said, because we've been around, when we first applied, it was our first year as an organization. And so we did not get it for a few reasons. But she said, I think now you've lasted long enough And I myself have been doing this work for a long time. And so if we can show this is the stuff we're committed to doing, she has strong faith that she could help get us charity status. And now we have the finances to work on some things we want to do. So that is my good news, albeit bittersweet because of the church. So please think about it. Start thinking about what you want us to work on and what you want to be working on. Please don't just send me things you want me to do. I am very busy. What are things that you want to do with people here, including me, but also with other people here? What are the things we want to be doing going forward? So that is our very good news. I look forward to hearing from you in a really good conversation with Dan Malink. One of the things I said is it's important to me that folks don't just come twice a month and then go home and never think about any of this again. I hope that it's affecting us in a good way in the rest of the world. So one of the things he said that I agree would be really helpful is after this, each week, I want to have a time where we kind of put it out there, like what's a real life moment in interfaith for you? What's interfaith in the real world like? In the last couple of weeks, did you reach out to someone from a different faith? Did you read up on something? Did you research something? Did you visit another faith tradition? How is this affecting you? Not just here. If you love it here, that's awesome. But also, what are we doing to help promote this? And so, yeah, so please let us know. Please send your ideas and thoughts to Rachel, Living Interfaith Sanctuary at gmail.com, and start talking to us about it because we actually have the means to do some really great stuff in the world. So thank you.